Welcome guys to a new episode of this devlog about the Waffle time game. Today is gonna be a shorter episode than normal because I've did some preparations. So basically, in the previous episode you could see me make the spawning of the Waffle. So what I did, I've made the health system, the armor system and the point system, and also the GUI. I changed also the graphics of the Waffle that's spawning, and I also changed the spawning animation. So the Waffle is gonna fall to the ground and then it's gonna go up and down in a nice little animation. So basically the waffles are synchronized in the whole game, and also the health in your armor and the points from every waffle are also synchronized. So you can see that the health is right here, armor is right there, points are right there. The armor, the background of the armor is transparent, so basically the armor bar can go from 0 to 100, so it's gonna look like the same as the health bar. But I've got 50 or 25, I don't know what the value now is, but I've got a little bit of armor right now. So basically I've made this transparent because otherwise it would show a black bar behind it, and I find that really ugly. So this is a better way to see that. Also, if you have a look, these animations I've made are code based, so it's not the animation in the sprite itself. So if I'm gonna pick up this waffle right here, you will see that this 0 is gonna be 1. And when I'm gonna join with a new character, I fell on the waffle, so my value is 1. And I'm gonna grab some values or some waffles. Now you see I've got 3 points, and this one only has 1. If I'm gonna shoot this player, you will see that the armor has been removed because the damage that I did was more than the armor. So basically the armor is gone. So if I'm gonna shoot it again, you see the health is taking damage. And with the health, I've did make a red background because I didn't want that transparency, because this shows more of how in danger you are. So if I'm gonna shoot this one with this gun, you will see the same is gonna be happening with the other player. And basically if I'm gonna jump right now and I'm gonna kill this player, you will see it's not going into the ground anymore because I've did the collisions again. So now it's properly working and I can shoot through it because the client thinks that it's not there. And also if the person that is dead stands right here in front or in this waffle, then the waffle is not gonna be picked up by this player because this player is dead. So I've did that also. So you may ask now, how did I do that? I'm gonna show you how I did the GUI. It's actually not really difficult. So if we have a look in the draw GUI event, you will see that we have a panel draw, and the panel is basically the black background, and it's a little bit transparent because I've changed the alpha value. Sorry for the dog. The second thing, I changed the settings for the drawing, so I've made the correct settings for it to prepare this all. I'm drawing the health with the string health, and then I've made a health bar with the value health, and I've made the background red. And actually this is the same as this one, but the values are changed, of course, of where the placement will be. And actually it's gonna make it like the armor value. I've made the background black, and then I've made it transparent. So this one is transparent because it's the armor and it's looking nice. For the next one is the points, and the points is basically really easy. It's the same as this, but then this is just a string of the points. So for the next thing, I made much change to the synchronization code actually, because before I've did this GUI, the variables, I could not send that to the clients, because the clients do not know which player in the server is the client's player. Only the server knows that. So basically it was one way only. So the client is sending inputs to the server, and the server is saying like, oh, this client has this input and this client is from this player, so move the player and send the movements to every client, including the client that is sending the movement. So basically the client never had received what his player is. So basically what I did is this. I've made a new object or a new variable in the player right here. It's named player ID. It's now equals to no one, because no one has this player ID, because it's defined by the server. And when the server is joining, client is joining the server, this player ID is made to the player that is created because of the client that is joined. We put the client sock ID in it, and sock stands for socket, and the socket is basically what could you say about socket? Basically it's like it's like your client, you know, it's gonna send it, and it's a unique ID. So the server has like the server knows via your socket ID that it's your client, basically, to say it like that, I think. Then I'm gonna send it directly to the client, to this client, with the sock ID of the client that has joined with the player ID of the player. And then in the player or in the client we get that information, and I've made a new packet for it, so I can easily send all the variables that are needed. And I'm checking on the incoming player ID, is that the same for my ID, because my ID I get right here, and this is for every game variable. So basically I've made new packets. No, not this one right here. I've made it like this. The structure goes like this. So basically the server has packets. Each packet means something. So basically packet key is only for the keys for the client to go to the server. And I've got a packet remote entity. That's basically for the synchronization, or how the heck you will call it. And then I've got a packet for the mouse and for the player name. And you could say that I can change this now to be a game variable, but I have already this right here, so I'm not gonna bother with changing it, because for now it's okay, like it's not getting me worse performance for it, so I don't really care. So for this packet remote entity, we've got the remote comments. That's basically saying like, this is the coordinates of the entity you're sending, this is the layer, this is the when it's gonna need to destroy, this is the sprite, etc. And this is a special one because this is the game variables, and that's just what I've made right here. So we are sending it via the buffer, and it's basically really easy actually to make changes to it. So if I want, let's say, a timer on the levels in the game, I could easily send it to the client, and I made a system in the client to be like a reference of the server to synchronize the timings and the pop-ups with round starting, etc. So all those changes are made, and I think it's really, really cool. Let's have another look at it. So in the future episode of this, I will show you more progress of the game, because the thing that I want to do next is I want to make a round system. So I think that's really good, and I cannot wait until we have the round system, because I want also to be the round to be displayed, and let's say waiting for players, and then when we have enough players that the round will start, and then we have like a few rounds. I think you can define that in this host settings. So basically the max players in the game, you will be able to divide in you will be able to set it right here, and also the time you will be able to set right here, and also how many rounds there are gonna be. I think that will be really cool to make the server choose like all those different things, because then the game is much more advanced in that thingy. So I think that's good for this devlog video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will show you in a later episode how I've done more things about the round system. So I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.